Those of us that indulge in intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or ego diddling. We do so because the chains of oppression on our people's minds are deep and difficult to remove.
Welcome to the Open Eye. I'm your host, Pat Gibbs. The Open Eye is brought to you by the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Good morning, Wilmington. Let's get started. If you would like to be on the Open Eye, please give Pat Gibbs a call at 302-442-1661. If you have an issue that you think is important to the community, give me a call. We can put you right on the Open Eye and focus that Open Eye on your issue. The views and opinions expressed on the Open Eye are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the policy or positions of WHGE 95.3 FM, nor are sponsored the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by Open Eye's hosts, guests, or contributors are theirs and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, company, or individual. Hey, let's get some news in here. What's going on in Wilmington? This Sunday, live telethon broadcast, September 30th from 1 to 4 p.m. on Comcast Channel 28 in support of the African American Heritage Institute. Be sure to tune in. Your tax deduction contribution qualifies for hourly giveaways, grand prize trip with airfare and hotel. You can pay via credit card, through PayPal, or Cash App. Make your donations in person or at the station. The Heritage Center's mission is to establish and operate an institution primarily responsible for researching, recordation, preservation, celebration, and education for students and the public about African American history and heritage is the city and the heritage of the city of Wilmington and more broadly Newcastle County and the state of Delaware. The center will be operated at the Allied Kid Building at 11th and Clifford Brown Walk on the east side of Wilmington, African American Historical Zone. Be sure to tune in. That's this Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. The African American Heritage Institute. Coming up, Pearl Center Community Day, October 6, 2018 from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. celebrating the opening of the Pearl Center, the veteran-specific apartment building built by the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets and their partners. Be sure to be there. That's October 6th, 1 to 5 p.m. It's going to be a great celebration. It's a wonderful thing for veterans. Let's talk about music in our community. From Louis Armstrong's Black and Blue in the late 20s to Billie Holiday's Strange Fruit in the 30s, Nina Simone's Mississippi Goddamn in the 60s, James Brown Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud in the late 60s, Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, and Stevie Wonder's Living the City in the 70s. Music has always had its consciousness, including the early days of hip-hop. From Run DMC's It's Like That, remember that, through the apex of conscious rap as produced by Public Enemy. Then came NWA and gangster rap. What most critics miss is that for the most part, gangster rap maintained a level of consciousness. As a matter of fact, the performers in gangster rap call themselves the CNN of the streets. Then corporate America got involved, and rappers could no longer get airplay with music that informed and uplifted. Now the music that gets airplay is about materialism, machismo, misogyny, and ignorance. Gangster rap became thug rap. This is neither a coincidence nor happenstance. This is planned, purposeful process with an intended outcome. It is no secret that young fans tend to emulate their favorite artists, and that these artists have the power of influence. That's why here at the Open Eye, we're going to give you something you don't get in the mainstream. That should be in the mainstream, even though it is running up the internet. No Saromas, my city.
This is for my city, every city, in every state. Yeah, Lord hurts. recognize the pain in my city. Don't you know there's a lot of love in our city? Yeah, we need a change in my city because violence taking over our city. Ain't nothing pretty, but we gotta get to the nitty. Look where around start, take it, dig it, gritty. Design a plan to prevent the sprawl. Pull a youth to the light, snatching from the door. Politics is a decommission and activism. Motion is key, it's only prison. Determined to make it happen in a corrupt way of living. Given the circumstance, take what's given. Law enforcers, no questions, only killing. How you gonna question me? I ain't the villain. And right across the street, they run in a trap building. It's not only drugs, the building was gun filled in. Crime policy enforcers, not even looking. Like the wrong one, think he make a good booking. Far right next to him, got the real crooked. It's a killing every day. In every poor other city where a friend will kill you. For nothing that's petty. High off the wreck or they sit, they call Betty. Wanna play the game, but their brain ain't ready. Got a gun, but they aim ain't steady. Hit the wrong one, someone innocent son. Players for a funeral, I bury another. Recognize the pain in my city. Don't you know there's a lot of love in our city? Yeah, we need a change in our city because violence taking over our city. Ain't nothing pretty, but we gotta get to the nitty. Look where around start, take it, dig it, gritty.
Monologue. I think monologue. You solo for that part.
I know, I'm just gonna I might say, so did you know about this communication?
Yeah.
Like, how
Okay.
insert you big.
Okay.
In every ghetto in this nation, facing the facts, faces will be racing, making dirty moves in all levels and high places. Get that, slip that, pitch that, yeah, you know get that. Black Lives Matter, 22nd century, right now we in the history. Open your eyes, blind and stay on mentally. When you want to backtrack, I hope they mention me. Delaware, Delaware, and we known everywhere. Bad news, good news, don't matter, cause we never lose. We make an opportunity through all the difficulties. Yeah, I live in a city where you can be all you can be. Honestly, poverty ain't got no gravity. Feel my electricity, reach a capacity. Not the pain in my city. Don't you know there's a lot of love in our city? Yeah, we need a change in my city because violence taking over our city. Ain't nothing pretty, but we gotta get to the nitty. Look where around the sword, take it, dig it, gritty. Design a plan to prevent the sprawl. So pull a youth to the light, snatching from the door. Rise, nothing wrong with music.
What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? It's your boy, No Saroma, chillin' on 95.3 FM. What's up, Mr. Gibbs? What's happening, my brother? What's happening?
What's happening, brother? You tell me.
Yo, I'm getting ready to just drop a little hip-hop news on them, you know what I'm saying? Let them know what's going down in the hip-hop world, artist world, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hey, yo, did you hear about what happened to my man Kanye West again? He in the news again.
Again, come
Yo,
on.
he had the
Get sick of that
nerve.
clown.
The brother had the nerve to go. Okay, he put the hat back on. You know,
The MAGA hat?
Make America Great Again hat, and he had on a Kaepernick jersey.
Wait a
So
minute.
he had a hat that Make America had it and the Kaepernick jersey on at the same time. I was like, what's going on with this brother?
Talk about conflict of interest. You can't pitch for the Yankees and catch for the Mets.
Yo, I don't know. I think he just, like that media, he like that media attention really bad. You know, if he ain't the attention of the attention, he got a problem with that. But check it, he was like, he actually made this hat himself. He designed it. He, put his own logo the way the letters go on the hat. He was like, this is the hat that I made. I'm like, what? You want to make America great again and you design your own Make America Great Again hat. Yo, that blew my mind.
I heard that.
Moving on, yo, you heard about Cardi B and Nicki Minaj going through their feud?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Supposedly, Nicki Minaj and Cardi B is going through their little spout. They got in a beef the other night in the club, and one of Nicki Minaj supposedly friends or bodyguard or something bust her upside the head and put this big giant hickey on the side of the joint. You see that hickey on her head?
Yeah, I saw that. Wait a minute. These are the two biggest female artists in the business.
Yo, it's messy. Now look, I think it's enough people in the world that everybody can get money. You know what I mean? And both of them don't need money.
No.
So why y'all feuding? Why y'all acting ignorant? That's
foolish.
ignorant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Y'all supposed to be sticking together. They already got one to make America great again
And you know,
going on.
Yeah.
So anyway, Cardi B ended up trying to kidnap Nicki. You hear about that? She got arrested and everything, supposedly.
that's just foolishness.
I don't understand that neither, man. And yo, I heard something through the grapevine about Tupac. All of Tupac's music and unreleased music that hasn't been out yet is back in the hands of his estate.
Oh, that's beautiful.
After 5 years
beautiful.
of legal battling,
Mm-hmm.
Pac supposedly has all his music back in his estate, in the power of his estate. Now I'm digging that. You know what I'm saying?
Me too.
I think every artist should have their own and be their own entity. And
Take a lesson from the old school.
Exactly.
Charles.
And also Drake and Post Malone, they nearly featured on Lil Wayne's new C5. You heard about that?
No.
Lil Wayne just dropped his new album on his birthday.
Okay.
It's called the Carter 5, but he called it the C5.
The C5. Right.
And it's pretty good. I heard it. You know what I'm
You
saying?
dig it?
And he featured a lot of artists on his new joint. So I'm going to tell you to go get that because it sounds like the particular album that he dropped is like, it's really from the heart. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
He talking real and about the industry and what's going on. And another thing, big ups to Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly.
Okay.
They going through their thing too. I mean, Machine Gun Kelly was like one of Eminem's greatest fans, and you know, since he got into the industry,
Right.
he talks a little bit about Eminem's daughter. He said a line in one of his songs like, Kaylee look good. He ain't say nothing derogatory or nothing like
Wait a
that.
minute, that's his daughter, right?
Yeah.
M's daughter.
Yeah, but
Okay.
she was like 14 at the time that he said it,
okay.
and Eminem had felt some kind of way about that,
Of course.
but he ain't say nothing for 6 years. And then he came out with this new album that he just dropped unannounced. It's called Kamikaze.
Right.
And yo, man, Eminem went so hard on everybody in the industry, all the way from Machine Gun Kelly all the way to Puffy, saying, Puffy, you ain't. I know you had something to do with Killer Big.
Oh, whoa.
And, you know, Psych, you know I'm playing. He's saying that. And Puff ain't like that.
I
You know
bet
what I'm
he
saying?
didn't.
And yo,
I bet he didn't.
he getting a lot of flack over that. And plus, Eminem's song Kill Shot, it's the second most streamed song of the week.
Wow.
That's a lot of streams, you know
Yeah,
what I
it
mean?
is.
Also in the news, my Philly boy, Will Smith, just turned 50. Made an epic jump out the helicopter over the Grand Canyon.
Big odds. Way to celebrate him, Will.
At 50. And yo, one more thing to put on in your brain, yo. Yo, Shaniqua Thompson says her baby daddy, her new baby daddy, is 50 Cent. So you know, 50 Cent have a baby with me and make a millionaire. So is she a millionaire yet?
I see one coming.
Oh,
I see
yo,
one coming.
that's hip hop news from Nosa Roma in the building, 95.3 FM. Yaga! Nice and smooth.
Yes,
Nice and easy.
Yo, my man.
That's it.
Huh?
I don't know how he rolled that off like that.
Right? That's what's up.
I'm gonna talk about, how you made history. Get a nice intro. And you gotta make, if you wanna make comments, you gotta, get on his mic.
My squad is the grimiest, we doing it. Bank wide, money counters, we doing it. Hot show, bad brawler, we doing it. Right, we say no to it. Strippers mouth, that just get it. Y'all ain't doing it. Say you smoke fire green, but y'all ain't doing it.
We talk, yeah, I get
Y'all
up.
think y'all hot dog, but y'all ain't doing it. You think you spit a hot verse, but y'all ain't doing it. Say that you live at a show, but y'all don't do it. Don't do it. Ride in the lane and get dope, but y'all really did. Say that you got mad, but I don't see them.
Well, that's what I meant.
Isn't be the man, so all I make is stand at the end of the road. I know wrong like the rock, so let's go. Rock the 4-4 for the ones high school, but I don't need that. Got you. Hanging in the beam of a sniper. Been a lot of places on the typer. You get a grip from a distance. It's no accident. Really, man, I'm pretty too slow. You can ride with the tape. You can play Superman, you want Mr. Clark Kent. Batman killed the boy in the last flick. My style sick with a vibe that'll keep you lit. Yeah, hear y'all talking, but y'all ain't doing it. Say you smoke fire green, but y'all ain't doing it. Y'all think y'all hot dog, but y'all ain't doing it. You think you spit a hot verse, but y'all ain't doing it.
That was No Saroma with his partner Smooth doing it. Implosion. Doing it. All right. Last week we had the honor of having historian Syl Wolford on. I want to remind you that Syl Wolford will be giving a lecture called Red Shirts, Black Riots, and White Power at the Wilmington Public Library on October 2nd. That's Tuesday, October 2nd. From 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Right now, I am honored to be joined by D. Marquis Hall. D. Marquis Hall is a young man that I met at the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. D. Marquis Hall is an activist, an artist, an athlete, and a history-making athlete, a boxer who recently made history in the Golden Gloves. I'd like to introduce the audience to D. Marquis Hall. How you doing, D?
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Brother Patrice.
My honor, my honor. Now, I had mentioned that you recently made history in the Golden Gloves. What is it you did to make history in the Golden Gloves?
I became the first athlete representative on the Golden Gloves Board of Directors. The Golden Gloves been going on since 1928. 1923 was actually the first tournament, first match in the Golden Gloves, but I was the first athlete representative on the Board of Directors.
That's big. That's major, brother. How long have you been boxing?
I first started fighting around, 2012?
2012, okay. And I take it you are a Golden Glove champion, not just...
I'm the Pennsylvania Golden Gloves champion.
All right. That's very impressive. You know, I'd like to ask you about some of the things that you do as far as an artist.
I made coloring books. I made the Black Lives Matter coloring books. All the books are history coloring books, and they really kind of they all focus on equality, inclusion, diversity, us recognizing that we are great, we are remarkable, we all special, and we deserve respect.
All right. And there was another coloring book you had that was focused on historical veterans, black veterans.
The Black Patriots coloring book includes great African American war heroes that never got the recognition that they deserve in schools, in life. Sometimes, veterans aren't treated like they need to be treated. There shouldn't be any homeless veterans. There shouldn't be any veterans that are suffering just because they A lot of people got problems out here,
Right.
but if anybody's problems get taken care of, it should be the veterans. We gotta serve those that served us now. It shouldn't be that the veterans are the most underserved community. It shouldn't be 180,000 veterans locked up in jail right now. It shouldn't be homeless veterans. We shouldn't have this kind of suffering, especially amongst the people that fought for this nation and fought for us all to be free, fought for our safety.
We appreciate your passion as far as bringing justice to these issues. Another accomplishment, a very accomplished young man. Another accomplishment was what you did for the statue for the African American recipients of the Medal of Honor.
Yes, sir. We was able to get the Wilson K. Smith Congressional Medal of Honor statue for African American Congressional Medal of Honor recipients rehabilitated. The statue was broken up. The lights were all broken all around the statue, and the state thought that an adequate job was just to duct tape the lights. So we had to get
Wait a
on
minute. They thought an adequate job was to duct tape the
lights.
Duct tape the lights.
The lights was all duct tape. They didn't fix them. They didn't actually repair the concrete. They didn't put new lights in. They just put duct tape on top of them, and it was atrocious looking. And when NAVVETS, the National Association of Black Veterans, came to me and said, "Look at this," I knew that we had to get some people involved. We had to call up the right people. We had to get the state Parks and Rec involved. We had to get the Lieutenant Governor's office involved. We had to get everybody that I knew that had a voice that they would listen to involved so that they would get that work done.
Just think about that, man. Let's take a second. Let's take one second and elaborate on all of what he just said to have that done.
Yeah.
Now, if it was
Don't
a
forget
different
about the
statue,
religious community, the faith community, the Jewish the synagogue right across the street. I had to contact Rabbi Beals, and I had to contact Representative Potter. He came and took pictures with us. We can't forget about the political community, the faith community. A lot of people came together just so that we could get those lights fixed around that monument. That is the only Congressional Medal of Honor recipient monument for African Americans in the nation.
In the nation.
And it's
Yeah.
in the
nation. And listen, and he had to do all of that to get that done.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was a white statue.
Oh, it would have been done with the quickness.
Right, it wouldn't have been falling down. Period. They have specific jobs for specific people to make sure that you keep this statue looking like that. I mean that's this world trying to make it great again,
Oh,
Yeah.
and that's what making this world great again is consistent of. I don't want this world to be great again because it never was great for us.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No, it wasn't.
That's
they don't want our statues up when their statues are getting torn down. They don't want our statues up when Robert E. Lee's getting torn down.
Well, you know what? Robert E. Lee was a traitor to the United States.
Amen.
Okay, Robert E. Lee was a rebel, and he fought for the destruction of the nation.
You sound like you're talking about Trump.
Well, I sure do know that.
That
Same
sound like
thing.
Trump. That sound like
Same team.
Yeah,
What
same
name?
team.
What was his name?
Robert E. Lee, or what? Did I mean
Robert Lee
Donald
Trump? Oh.
Yeah, how about that?
Don't forget about Jefferson Sessions.
Yeah, Jefferson.
Davis Sessions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jefferson
man.
Davis Sessions.
Yeah.
You know, as we know, Jefferson Davis was the president of the Confederate United States.
Yes,
Right.
he was.
Yeah,
Yes, he was.
yeah, and that's
Robert E.
who,
Lee was the general.
right, and that's who the present Attorney General is named after.
That's
So
incredible.
yeah, so that tells you his mindset right there. Yeah, I would like to thank you, B, on behalf of my old friend Wilson K. Smith, who worked 30 or 40 years to get that statue up, to get recognition to the recipients of the Congressional Medal, to African American recipients of the Congressional Medal of Honor.
You got to thank the whole team. You got to thank everybody that came together. We definitely got to thank the NAVVETS who first told me about the issue, because I wouldn't know about the statue. I walked by it just like everybody else.
Right.
Right.
You know, and
Where is the
that's something-
statue located at?
Brandywine Park, Baynard Boulevard,
18th and Baynard Boulevard.
Oh, it's that statue right there on the corner,
Right
right
there
across
on
from
the
the synagogue.
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew that. I've been here 50 years and I never knew that.
How about that?
And ain't that crazy?
Yeah, that
Yo,
is.
that's incredible.
More of our people need to know that, and more of our people, you know, when you walk by that statue, don't just walk by. You know, stop and salute the Congressional Medal of Honor recipients and the work that Wilson K. Smith did. as well as those that keep bringing attention to that.
That's right.
Especially Commander Nolan Lewis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. This is the Open Eye on 95.3 FM.
Golden Gloves, huh? I get down on the side. I got the gym at the together every day.
Where's that?
I'm 30th. I'm 30th. You know, I'm the man myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't even open it.
You know, Aaron over there in Sweet got it. He got the spot over on 30th. You saw CDs, got the goals up in there, right on 30th.
30th and what?
30th and Market. The corner, right next to the Moore Science Center. You got the end over here, across the street, right across the street where Rashes is at.
Yeah.
Right on that corner.
California, yeah. Oh, no, the corner, right?
Yeah, I think
the
it was,
corner in Broken Book.
Beautiful.
I don't know. I don't know that. You talking about on 31st? The
Yeah,
corner
cool.
code.
My books in there that time.
I don't know. 31st and Mark.
Aaron, he got out of it. Now he got the spot over there. He sells CDs. You should get your CD over there. He sells CDs.
Okay.
T-shirts and all that.
Here we go back home. This is the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. The Open Eye is brought to you by the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. DCHD's mission centers around two main goals: housing and supportive services. DCHD's housing goal is to provide safe, affordable housing coupled with supportive services for each veteran in need. DCHD's supportive services goal is to reintegrate, educate, empower, and advocate for homeless veterans and their families who are at risk of homelessness, while simultaneously strengthening the impact of other community-based organizations. By providing housing first and ending the cycle of homelessness for a veteran and supplying them with supportive services that they themselves identify as needed to combat future homelessness, DCHD, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, is able to fully support the veterans' long-term goals of obtaining recovery, economic self-sufficiency, independence, and community reintegration. Saturday, October 6th, from 1 to 5 p.m., is the celebration of the Pearl Center opening. The Pearl Center Community Day will have activities, fun, food, special children's character appearances, face painting, music, and giveaways. Be sure to be there and help the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets celebrate the opening of the Pearl Center Veteran-Specific Apartment Building. All right, we are back on the Open Eye. This week we had what I consider just a real tragedy, and that is the sentencing of Bill Cosby. Now, I have my problems with Bill Cosby. I do not condone sexual predators, okay? I do not condone the criticisms that Bill Cosby made against young, poor African Americans with the ideal that the conditions that they were in were their own fault, with taking no account and no recognition of the pressures of society and what the past has done to our people. However, what I don't like is how unfairly Bill Cosby was treated. Don't get it mixed. Those that accuse Bill Cosby are accusers. Stop calling them victims. They are not heroes, okay? Bill Cosby, much to the public's misinformed public's opinion, and much opposed to what the press has been putting out there. This is why we have to control our own propaganda. Bill Cosby was not convicted of rape. Bill Cosby was not convicted of drugging and raping anyone. Bill Cosby was actually convicted of, now get this, he was convicted of 3 counts of indecent assault. Now what is that? What is indecent assault? You know, that makes me think of why black men were lynched. Indecent assault, the reason black men were lynched, basically means sleeping with white women. And that's what Bill Cosby's real crime was. Because look, they changed the law, okay? The statute of limitations law was changed, okay? They destroyed a legacy. They did it with no proof. There's no proof, okay? With this woman that came forward, who had already been paid off before, who came forward and testified against Bill Cosby, changed her story several times, okay? And she was still, the first case was found in the verdict was a hung jury. They couldn't come up with a verdict, okay? They made many of us believe that justice was served decades later. See, the goal was to send a message that money cannot do the same thing for black people that it does for white people. Look at all of the white men that have been accused of crimes, including your president, Donald J. Grab him by the trunk.
Yo, that's crazy, man.
Is that crazy?
I mean, how is that justice? And how do we as a people don't really recognize and come together and attack this problem at a massive level? How is that not happening?
You know what? You know, it's something a lot of times until the problem hits home. Yeah. You know, it's interesting that the support for Bill Cosby falls in two camps within our community. Okay? Most black women are saying, yeah, well, he did this and he did that and he got what was coming to him. And I had no sympathy for him. You're just feeling sorry for Dr. Huxtable. Okay, well, Bill Cosby, of course, is not Dr. Huxtable. And don't get me wrong, Bill Cosby did his dirt. Okay, for one thing, you know, Bill Cosby was an adulterer. He betrayed his marriage. You know, another thing, he used his position to get women to have sex. You know, he actually bragged about using what was it,
Pills and all that.
and this, that,
But I'm
and the other.
saying that's almost human.
Yeah, these things happen.
Like,
You know what?
That's human. When you're dealing with a human, you don't know what to expect.
That's word.
And sometimes, you know, in life,
Mhm.
you find yourself doing stuff that you don't even realize that you're doing and don't like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it ain't something to hold over your head. You gotta recognize it and don't do it anymore.
Right.
And keep pressing.
Yeah. Well, see, you know what? Here's the crazy thing about these so-called victims, who I call accusers. First of all, there were 60 of them. Where did all these women come from? Okay. Second of all, now during the 70s and 80s, it was, and even now, okay, you have someone that likes to party, let's say it like that, you know, with drugs and alcohol and this, that, and the other. Okay. Well, come on over, baby, and you know, what's your flavor? You know, so I'll hook you up with some of this, that, and the other,
Right.
and you go to bed with me.
I got what you need.
That's it. That's it. And these are the things that go on. Now, here's another thing. How many rape victims go back 3 and 4 times? You know, you hear me, D? How many rape victims go back 3 or 4 times?
I want to go back to the problem of interracial relationships and sometimes us not being seen as the innocent party just because. What was that word that you used? What was it that he got found guilty of?
Indecent assault.
Indecent assault. So we go back through the history. At one point, we know that interracial relations were against the law on paper.
It was called miscegenation or something. Miscegenation.
Where you could be lynched for it.
Yeah.
And if we go back to the military history, there's a man named Henry Ocean Flipper. Henry Ocean Flipper, or Henry O. Flipper, was the first black West Point graduate. And after his career, after he graduated, he became an officer, and he was serving underneath of a white, commander, white general, and he was basically blackballed and court-martialed for having relations with this man's sister-in-law.
Yeah.
They used those letters and all the proceeds to get rid of Henry O. Flipper.
Yeah, and it didn't even have to be true. And remember, what happened with Bill Cosby is akin to, like I said, a modern invention. Unfortunately, he lived, or being 81 years old, they said that he will from now on have to register as a dangerous sexual predator.
Now that's incredible.
He's 81 years old.
It looked like they gave him 3 years, right?
3 to 10.
And it looked like he only got 3 more years left.
He's 81 years old, blind,
But a white man accused can become a Supreme Court justice.
Here we
Right.
go.
And
Exactly.
plus, this was just recently. Harvey, what's his name?
Harvey Weinstein,
Right.
66 years old, charged in 2008 with rape, criminal sex act, criminal abuse, sexual misconduct.
That's right now.
Yes.
That's 2008. He
Yeah.
got charged
Yeah.
with that. Bill Cosby didn't get a charge.
And he's still out on bail.
And raping all kinds of
never
prominent
lost his job
famous
position.
celebrity women.
Yeah, yeah.
He
Still
never
free.
lost his job position.
Oh,
None of that.
No. He's still, of course, I don't think any actresses will work for him right now, because of this Me Too movement. And, there may be a plan to take him down. I don't see it happening. I think, who was it, director Roman Polanski, who raped an underage girl and escaped to Europe. But his movies are still shown after he directs them here in the States.
I'm going to go on record as saying that the Me Too movement is protecting only white females
Yeah.
and not black females. We think about R. Kelly.
Mhm.
R. Kelly was found guilty, was found on video doing all these things with all these different black women, young black girls.
Yeah. And we still, you know what? Now, some of our people still support R. Kelly. Of course, like you said, R. Kelly's victims were black girls. It is known in Chicago, well known in Chicago, that R. Kelly preys on high school girls. He even stalks high schools looking for his victims. He has paid off numerous families millions of dollars so that they wouldn't testify against him. Okay? And he's still on the street. Do not have a Facebook page, Peace Gibbs. Do not come on my page with any R. Kelly music. I will unfriend you. I will kick you to the curb if I cannot stand R. Kelly. All right, and this is for my sisters. I've seen some of you actually defending R. Kelly. Oh, he didn't do this. He didn't. Yes, he did. Yes, he did, and he's gotten away with it because his victims were black women or black girls.
And he's still free. And he's still free, still able to do whatever it is that he has been getting away with for a long time. We gotta protect the most vulnerable among us. We gotta protect the children that these people prey on. We gotta protect the youth. When I was out look at the Golden Gloves, when I was in Omaha, when I was in Atlantic City, which is where the next two gonna be, I was advocating for the youth that's in danger. We got 5 different cases right now of child molestation in USA boxing. That's why I was there speaking, because they don't want to talk about it, just like the church don't want to talk about it.
Right. Now I was going to say that it's been 1,000. It's been 1,000 Catholic children that go to Catholic churches that's been abused.
Right.
In 2018, just in this year, 1,000.
Yeah, that's just this year.
Now,
Right, and you ain't heard nothing in the media. You ain't heard nothing in the news.
No.
They don't even talk about it. And I had posted on my page, right?
Mhm.
It was a Catholic priest, the Archbishop,
Mhm.
whatever, however he said.
Yeah, the Archbishop.
Well, they asked him a question. They was like, so do you think having sex with children is illegal? And he said, I don't know.
He don't know.
He don't know.
Imagine
He said, I
that.
don't know.
Imagine that. Now, why would he say something like that?
And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And then they was like trying to make him understand that you ain't even answering it right.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Trying
It
to
was-
get him to give up the right
they
answer.
said, so you personally don't think it's against the law for a grown man to have sex with a child? He was like, no, not that I know of. It's not against the law.
That's
I'm
all.
so shocked by that comment that I can't even speak. I was just stunned for a little bit. I feel like Kamala Harris and Cory Booker yesterday in that Senate, or that judicial or whatever that was yesterday.
Yeah, that
Oh, yeah.
clown show.
Yeah.
But you have to explore why he would say something like that. Okay, if I'm practicing a certain thing and what have you, you come and ask me, well, is it against the law or should it be against the law? Well, I don't know because I do it, so it's probably okay. And, and that's the mindset.
The first thing that the Golden Girls president said when I told him about what was going on in Arizona, there's a coach that got suspended for being in a hotel room doing something ungodly with a little boy. He got suspended, so that they're investigating him now, but he didn't get put in jail. They were investigating. I found that out after the Golden Girls.
And he wasn't arrested.
He wasn't arrested, not yet. They're still investigating him. But the first thing that the Golden Girls president told me was that he knows a guy that's locked up now. He's been locked up for 7 years, or he's going to be locked up for 7 years, and he knows he didn't do it. That's what he said. He knows he didn't do it. So we protect the predator. We protect the people that we think is family, that we think that we know, that we think is okay. When you don't really know anybody, you don't know what it is that they're doing, what they're capable of, because these people, these predators, are able to just transform and just pretend to be cool.
Just think, man. Malcolm X said this 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He said the media is outlet for them to mess with your mind,
Right.
and make you think that the victim is the criminal,
Mm-hmm.
and the criminal is the victim.
Yeah.
And he said this 50 years ago
How about that?
about how this media would start turning and changing the things that's really true to making them think it's propaganda, or it's not don't believe it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And putting what you call it, like doubt
Mm-hmm.
in what's true. And that's what the media is doing right now.
Right now, welcome to the open eye. This is why we have to control our own propaganda and the information that hits our community. Okay, like I said, or like my man here said,
I don't watch TV.
I don't blame you. It would go back 30 years since, in my family we call it the idiot box, because it's programming, and you will be programmed. You keep watching that mess. And like my man said, the media will have you thinking that the victim is the criminal. Okay, black people, it brings me around to black people being murdered by the police. Okay, black people are the only people who, when victimized, are put on trial for being murdered. Can you understand that? Does that sink into you? They are put on trial for being murdered. The last well-known case to take place was when the female police officer went into the man's apartment, in his own apartment, and murdered him. They don't call it manslaughter, don't call it a mistake. He went in his apartment and murdered him. So what did the cops do? They searched his apartment and they found some marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he had some marijuana in his apartment, so he probably deserved to be killed. So they put this man on trial for being murdered and found him lacking in character, lacking in humanity, and deserving of his fate.
But he was a student in college, and he was
Faith leader at his church.
right, a faith leader, and he was a well-known activist
Right.
in his community.
Diplomat from the Virgin Islands, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, marijuana. How many people smoke marijuana? Marijuana is legal now. It's a
At least decriminalized
medicinal
most
purpose
places.
thing. They don't know if it was medicinal or not. They didn't say that.
No,
They didn't be
no.
going to none of that.
No?
But if it was a black guy going into a white girl's apartment by mistake and killing her,
Oh.
he'll be lynched,
Hey,
hung, burned up, and all the stuff they used to do back in the day to us
Yeah.
as black people. You know what I mean? I don't understand.
Oh, his character, before any of that took place, they would have made sure that the public understood that he deserved it. If a black cop had went in it, for instance, there was a black cop that there was a year or so ago that shot a young lady from Australia, a young white woman. Where's he at?
They walked up. She called him, and she ran to the car to get help. And they was sitting in the car. They scared, and boom, he turned around and shot her and killed her.
And that was a black cop.
Yeah, and you don't hear nothing. He's under the gun.
Oh, he's in jail right now.
He's under the gun.
Yeah, and he wasn't charged with manslaughter.
He was charged with murder.
Yeah.
From the gate.
Yeah.
And what about the police commissioner or the sergeant saying she couldn't fire her.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? She had to wait for permission to fire her.
What?
Yeah, that shows how deep her power was.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't
A
know.
lawyer called her out on that, and
Right.
said it was biscuit sauce, because the law says if a police officer behaves in a way that is egregious, she has the power to fire her.
Now this is gonna beat you upside your head right here. The new thing that the police officers are doing,
Mhm.
you know, they got the body cams on,
And the
they got
dashing.
the dash cams.
Yeah.
Well, the new thing they doing with the dash cams in the car is
Mhm.
when they get out the car, they pop the hood and put the hood up so you can't see what's going on. So you really only getting the hood,
Right.
like something's wrong with the car, but they put the hood up so you can't see what's going on in front of the car now.
Yeah, is that strictly illegal?
That's definitely illegal.
Yeah, I
But
would think so.
But who's bringing knowledge to that? Don't nobody know that that's one of their slick games that they
You're not
play.
hearing this in the mainstream press, but you're
Right.
hearing it on the open eye. D.
I just want to thank God that I'm alive today, because I've been in that position where I done had cuffs put on me, and I've been told that I was resisting when I wasn't. And at any time, police nowadays, as a black man, they can shoot you in the back of the head, even if you're just trying to speak out for the people, you're just trying to do the right thing.
One of the worst things you can see when you're driving down the road are police lights in back of you. It makes me think of the young lady that got pulled over by the police, and it was such a frightening experience for her. Now, she did nothing wrong. She did absolutely nothing wrong. But this was such a frightening experience for her that she bust out in tears and was absolutely hysterical. Guess why the cop pulled her over? Because she was driving a little too slow, and he thought that there was something wrong with her. This was actually one of the quote-unquote good cops. He thought maybe she had a problem, maybe she needed some help or something. He was coming to her assistance. But because of all the things that have happened to black people, you can become a Facebook entry for any dealings you have with the police, right or wrong. Okay? She's been influenced by all the propaganda and all of the publicity that has surrounded, and rightfully so, that has surrounded the unjust killing of blacks by the police on men, women, and children. So when this policeman came up to her car, she bust out crying, even when he tried to calm her down. Even when he left, she kept recording herself and recording how afraid she was. No one should have to live like that. And this is making America great again?
Listen, this absolutely blew me away. You understand? You know how when you go hunting, you gotta get a license to hunt?
Yeah.
Well, it's a license to hunt a Negro
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, Missouri.
That's still in effect
Yeah.
right now.
Mhm.
You can go get a license to hunt a black man,
Mhm.
and you put 6'1", 150 pounds, black eyes. You can fill out this
Yeah.
license.
Yeah. Yeah. Now of course it's not legal. It's not legal. But, in Missouri, this is actually issued by white nationalists.
I ask y'all this question: what's the difference between white privilege and a license to kill?
None.
Ain't no difference between white privilege and a license to kill.
You know what? Here's the thing. That a lot of people, so-called critics of these police killings, they say, well, the problem is not race. The problem is not race. It's the training. It's the training. Damnedest thing, police don't have to be trained not to kill white people. Okay, so why would they have to be trained not to kill black people? Guess what? It's just the opposite. There have been many cases where police leadership has let it be known to the lower ranks that you're not killing enough black people here, or you're not putting enough black people in jail. And I think it's in Chicago right now where the crooked police captain had tainted so many cases that they're having to
We ain't
release
even
hundreds
got to
of
go
them.
that far to find tainted cops. It's tainted cops right here in Wilmington. It's tainted cops in Philly. It's tainted cops that
All
are
over the
called
world.
out.
Oh, yeah.
And they get penalized sometimes, but at the same time they still go out and they do what it is that they do, and they get away with it over and over again. You might get a slap on the wrist, might get a little pay need suspension for a little bit, but they come back and they do the same thing, and then eventually they kill somebody, and then maybe they kill somebody again.
Yeah, and you know, this is something that what a lot of people say. Well, the system is broken.
What I've learned is that, okay, even if you're a police officer, right, and you do something to a person, the law don't stop me from coming directly after you to sue you. Not the police company, not the police department, but you as your name on that badge. I'm not dealing with the police. I'm dealing
Specifically,
a civil aspect, a civil suit. And I'm bringing it upon you. And that's what we have to start doing. We have to start making the specific person take and get responsible for whatever it is that they do by going after them directly. And not their company, not their position that they have, but them as themselves.
I'm specifically concerned about undercover police and the way that they infiltrate and they act like they just robbers basically, and when they're investigating somebody in the community that, you know, might be coming from work, might be going to where it is they need to get to, might be picking up their kids from daycare, just because they look at them and they black and they look like a drug dealer, maybe they got a beard to the
talking
police.
about entrapment.
Black man, you a criminal. You guilty until proven innocent as a black man in this world today. In Philadelphia, they just killed this man Jeffrey Dennis a couple weeks back, maybe a month or so ago. Now it's a little bit, but it was undercovers that was investigating them, and they was, you know, they tried to box them in. They looked like robbers. They wasn't identified. There wasn't no way for him to know that
They was
he
cops.
wasn't.
Right.
He was under attack.
Right.
They
Like I
shot him
said,
in the head. He
yes.
was under attack.
Yeah, you know, but I got to go back to what Brother Nosaroma said about going after the proper people when these things take place. See, nothing hurts people more, because what you have to understand, what white supremacy understands is blood and money. Okay, we spilled enough blood. We're not in the position to spill their blood, because that's just going to get you, you know, locked up or whatever. You know, enough of our blood has been spilled. What you have to do is start taking people's money. Once you get their money, once they understand that they're going to lose their treasure for the rest of their lives, okay, they're going to lose their pension, they're going to lose, you know, their kids' college fund, and, you know, all these things or what have you, you know, that will have an effect.
It's all about green. That color means more to the white man than any other color, and it means a whole lot to the black community too, because we don't have it. A lot of the crime, all the crime, pretty much comes back to not having people doing crazy things to get what it is that they don't have.
But when you think about it, we never really cared about money because we never really had it. So we always bartered. In our situation, if you was a bricklayer and I needed some steps ran up to my house, I would go, yo, Pat, I tint windows and I put windows in your house. So I see you need windows. Let's barter, and you do my bricks and I do your house.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And that's the way we would automatically keep our community running, because it wasn't about money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, in our community, we still got this materialism that persists, and a lot of it, I feel, has to do with the music, has to do with the videos,
Most
images that we
definitely.
see on TV. That's one of the reasons I don't watch TV.
We're
When I was
being
young,
injected.
I thought that I
Yeah.
needed all that stuff that I saw all the rappers with,
Right.
and I thought that I needed to go out and sell drugs and do all that crazy
Spend
stuff.
$100,000 on a gold chain,
Right.
and you live in an apartment.
Exactly.
That's
That's what your
crazy.
mama.
Right.
That's the thing that we need to understand, right, is that money is a tool, and we don't use it properly,
Right.
because our spending power is at $1 trillion right now. Okay,
Right.
if we start spending with our own and keeping the money in our community, there was a time where the dollar bounced in the black community 20 times. Now it bounces once.
Not even- not even the whole-
It don't bounce
yeah.
at all in our community.
Right.
No.
It leaves
They go
our
all-
community as soon as we
Every,
get it.
every
Soon as we
store
get it.
on the corner is a Chinese store. I don't even see no blacks own businesses anymore.
That's right. And
I
that's
mean,
the shame.
legally. I mean, you got people that got businesses that, they doing their thing, but I don't see the license up
Right.
on the how you supposed to be posted.
Right.
Shit.
Vendors
Right.
and people
We are capable.
getting their hustle on the street.
We
And
are
I don't
capable.
mean contraband as like drugs and what have you.
Right.
I know plenty of cats that are
Capable.
weaving t-shirts and
Music.
sneakers and music and what have
Art,
you.
books,
Art, books and what have you.
clothes.
I'm an author myself.
Yeah.
I move my books on the street. Now there was, I can remember, there was a black-owned bookstore on the Market Street Mall at one time. I went in and asked the brother to sell my books.
And you know what he said?
What are they about? Oh, I don't think my music is going to be with this. I'll think about it.
You know
So,
what's something?
yeah.
If the books was urban books, if it was hood books, if it was books that was about killing and destroying and all of that, as a black author, they would have took those books.
Yeah.
I went in the 9th Street bookstore when it was there,
Yeah.
and I asked them to sell my Black Lives Matter book. I asked them if I could keep these in here, and if
Mhm.
somebody could, they could market them.
Right.
I was giving my books away for free. It wasn't even a situation where I wanted to sell them. I just wanted them to be available at the
Right.
bookstore.
Mhm.
And they told me that they couldn't do that, and that they showed me their urban section. They showed me what it was that a black author could have.
Now,
in their
I had a
store.
different experience from the 9th Street bookstore. On the same day that I went to this black-owned bookstore, I went to the 9th Street bookstore who support local artists. Now, the thing is about the 9th Street bookstore is they're not in the business of giving things away. That might have been the situation. I'm not defending anybody, but what I'm saying is when I went to the black-owned business, he wouldn't sell my books. When I went to the 9th Street bookstore, they put them on the shelf and they put one in the front window as a local artist. Okay, I'm just saying. The thing
Case by
is,
case.
the lack of support that's the point is the lack of support
Right.
that I got from the black-owned business.
Right.
Whether the white-owned business, who I'm somewhat known in the community as an author, whether the white-owned business recognizes or not, the thing is the black-owned business would not give me a chance. And if we don't work with each other,
That's
this-
back to programming. He's
Yeah.
been programmed not to mess with you.
that's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
it.
we gotta
That's
change their
important.
thinking, right? We gotta change. Once we change their thinking and change that. Look, I'm not out to take money out your food, out your baby, money
Right.
from you. I mean, once they realize that it's a unity thing, which they don't see,
Right.
because they've been so smashed with the program
Mhm.
of them not wanting to see their better part. Even their wives, they don't even want their wives to make more money than them.
No.
I mean, that
I've
how
seen that
dumb
too.
is that? I mean,
Yeah.
if she's smarter than you or she got a better opportunity than you,
Mhm.
that's what's going down,
Mhm.
and you got a problem with that.
Yeah, I would never
right.
understand
Certain, I just can't understand, or I ain't even gonna try to understand
No.
some of them type of things.
No.
That, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Capitalism.
Yeah, capitalism. And another thing, when you said that, there are those that, black men that have adopted the individualistic mindset of the dominant white society, and that they think they should be over the woman like that. But that has actually never been really the case within our community. This is really, something that, those under that influence have. But having been raised by strong black women and by black men who had no insecurities, about their women being able to go as far as their talent and ambition could take them. Okay, I have no insecurities with that with our women, and I say that to say this to our women: the white woman's fight and white feminism is not your fight.
Shout out my mom, my grandma, my aunt, my cousin Megan. She getting surgery on Monday. Y'all can lift up a prayer for her. Everybody that's out there. She actually has brain tumors and she's getting surgery on Monday. So
Oh, shit.
that's my cousin Megan.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. As far as it goes with the open eye, like I said, one of the most important things is controlling our propaganda, controlling the messages that reach our people. And I want to thank my guest, D. Marquis Hall.
Thank you, Brother Patrice.
That's
I
what's
want
up,
to
that's
thank
what's
my
up.
partner, Miss Roma,
Golden Glove,
Because-
that's what's up.
yes,
He's the
indeed,
Golden Glove
making-
champion in the building, you understand?
making history.
Athlete representative following in the past of Muhammad Ali, Arthur Ashe, all the athlete representatives that stood up for something outside the ring, off the tennis court. you know,
That's
it's all
right.
about the ancestors and just leaving a legacy, doing the best that we can for everybody else.
Right now, you're making history, so your legacy has begun.
Yes, sir. And as always, I want to thank my partner in consciousness, brother in Saroma. Make sure you pick up his CD, My City. It is just burning up the charts. No Sarama, my main man. I will see you next time on The Open Eye. And like I said, once
Thank
again,
you, brother.
yeah. You know, like I said, one of the things I want to do is recognize a brother that we recently lost, and that is Brother Ron Sutton Jr., major talent, major sax player, one of the greatest talents to come through our city. Last week, I read to Mr. Carey's listening audience the interview that I was honored to do with Ron Sutton. Ron Sutton was 55 when he died just recently. His service will be in Washington, D.C. Tuesday, October the 2nd. Those of us that can't be there, I definitely want us to keep a prayer. And I want you to remember this about someone like Ron Sutton. Okay? Ron Sutton was not a human living a spiritual experience. Ron Sutton was a beautiful spirit living a human experience. Okay, I want to close the show by reading the interview that I was honored to do with Ron Sutton when he first came to Wilmington. I called the interview "Setting the Town on Its Ear." Saxophonist Ron Sutton. You can hear the buzz all over. Enter any of Wilmington area's jazz hotspots and watch everyone's head turn toward the door in anticipation. Fans and musicians alike ask, "Is that him? What time is he coming? Is he playing here tonight?" The buzz was about saxophonist Ron Sutton Jr., who had recently arrived on Wilmington's jazz scene. Supreme bopologist Sutton hailed from Washington, D.C., where he cut his teeth as a professional musician, landing his first paying gig at the tender age of 15. "I think they paid me the whole $20, asked Ron as he relates the memory of his first gig. Ron Sutton Jr. started playing clarinet when he was 12 years old. Then he heard the bird, specifically bird with strings. Man, that was it. I was in 9th grade when I heard the bird, and I knew I had to play like that, the bird being Charlie Parker," exclaimed Ron Sutton when asked why he switched from the clarinet to the sax. "It's a toss-up between Bud Powell and Charlie Parker," explained Sutton when asked who most influences his music. "I'd like to develop a sound somewhere between Bird and Jackie McLean with the intensity of Bud Powell, a powerhouse store of influences which produces one hell of a fierce progression of the art form through Sutton's horn." A graduate of the Duke Ellington School of Performing Arts, Ron moved to New York to advance his musical career, gain experience, and increase his musical vocabulary. Landing gigs with such notables as the Rashid Ali Quintet, the Ralph Peterson Quintet, and Arthur Taylor's Wailers. Taylor's most renowned band member was the great John Coltrane, another Sutton influence. Ron would sit in on jam sessions when not gigging to keep his sound fresh and gauge where he was musically. Ron relates how New York musicians helped him grow musically. New York drummers are different from any others in the country. The drummers are very powerful in New York. Whenever Art Blakey would come into town, I'd make a point to sit in with him. That way I could tell. I mean, who else could be more powerful than Art Blakey? I could tell how my sound was developing. I remember the first time I sat in with Art. He wiped my ass out. He wiped me out. I got a fair break. It was fair. I got my shot, a couple of courses, but Art has a way of building the intensity. Whether you're gone or not, he's gone. And either you keep up or get off the ride. So I got wiped out that first time, somewhere between a press roll and something. Man, I just humbly walked away. Hey, it was a lesson for the better. Sent me to the woodshed. I got my ass up on 174th Street by the bridge and started blowing against the traffic, which made me work harder to even hear my sound, let alone develop it. It was a needed lesson because it worked. I could see the growth, and next time I got up, I was ready. After taking a brief hiatus to return to DC to teach music, Ron got his career back on track. Based in Wilmington, he coincidentally resided in the very neighborhood that produced the great Clifford Brown. He freelanced up and down the Eastern Corridor and caused quite a stir. Composing music for his first CD, Ron's star was on the rise. When asked where he'd like to be 10 years from now, Ron Sutton Jr. leaned back in his chair, thoughtfully casting his eyes into space, his love for the music shining all over his face. Quietly, with a warm smile, he replied, "Playing, jamming with some serious cats that can really play." No wonder he set this town on his ear. I love you, brother Ron, always will. This is The Open Eye. I'm Pat Gibbs.